Scott, my friend, I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks. I think this is where we really start our rotation. We were just chatting about it before we started rolling. The season starts, and I'm going to see you at the Beahrs Innovation Summit in Rochester pretty soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Time flies. Just saw you in San Francisco a few short weeks ago, and really excited about the beer summit. It's phenomenal to see the growth they've had.
Yeah, in a short time, too. And look, I mean, I'll give you this title, but LSI has become the platinum standard in events within the medtech community and the investment community. And so, and I love the fact that you are one of the champions and you sit on the steering committee with me at Beer Summit. What made you lean in particular to this event?
Well, I think that, when you get a call from Lisa Carmel and she says, hey, Mayo's doing something big, they have some ideas, would you be a part of it? Just by default, you say, yes, I want to be a part of it. And it's Mayo, so you want to be a part of it. Um, I think that one of the gaps that we've had in industry for some time is that kind of voice of the patient, voice of the clinician um, that we don't hear often enough. And so for those reasons, I said I want to be a part of it. And I got involved when you did back a few years ago. And what started as a small, very well-run meeting has turned into what today I think is just a phenomenal staple of the industry that is set to continue growing. And it's going to be a really important part of innovation going forward. So I'm super excited to be a part of it.
And hats off to you. There's not many individuals who are so selfless, who put on, again, the three biggest meetings that industry has in medtech. And then you've offered tremendous insight to the Mayo organization as to what they may want to think about. Again, always giving and giving. And here's something where you pointed out how important it is that we get patients, surgeons, strategics, and investors in a room for almost a single day, other than the gig that you and I have put it on the night before.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I think that I don't think we lose sight of what it is that we're all trying to do here. I think we all know what we're trying to do and the impact. And at the end of the day, it's about making, you know, reducing suffering, extending life, and impacting the patient. But I think that it's really hard to raise capital. It's really hard to innovate. It's really hard to build teams and build companies. And sometimes you can lose sight of what it is that we're really trying to do here and why it all matters. So you get to a place like the Beer Summit with all these clinicians around here that are representing the voice of the patient. And it's a very clear reminder of why what we're doing is so important. And it gives you that push and that inspiration to move forward. And over the course of one day, the amount of connections that you make, you and I talk all the time about, the planned connections, but then there are the unplanned connections that often are more valuable than the ones you thought you were even going for. So super exciting.
Yeah, the unintended collisions is the phrase that you and I had created a while back. And one of the other things that I'm curious what your thoughts are on is the executives in the large strategics. They're usually running a very busy calendar, for sure, running billion-dollar companies. In your opinion, why is that Beers Innovation Summit critical that the executives go there as well?
Well, I think that, you know, you go to the beer summit and a few things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to get to talk to your customers, get that voice of the patient that we're talking about. Really important. You get to do it in a very condensed, efficient window of time. But the other elements that I think they get is they get first look. So they're getting first look at new innovations, new leadership that are developing those innovations. And they also get not just the voice of the patient through the voice of their customer, the clinicians, but they're getting I guess I would refer to it as the first reaction by those clinicians to new innovations that are coming to stage. So it's a very fresh and early look for them at not only new technology, but the reaction from the clinician base about that technology. And frankly, they also get to see how the investment community is reacting or responding to certain innovations. So I think it's just the concentration of all those stakeholders in one place at a Mayo environment is, it's target rich, and it's a place that you almost can't miss if you're a big strategic. You almost have to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, and they curate it extraordinarily well. I like the fact that there's only one room, there's no breakout rooms for that one day. Like when we do LSI, we've got 3, 4, 5 days to have breakout rooms, different flights. But what Mayo has done is they've looked at best in industry, LSI, and the Platinum Standard, and they're like, let's just keep everybody in a room. Let's keep everybody focused on one subject. Let's limit the head count, invite only, invite only to the dinner the night before, and you get these massive unintended, unencumbered collisions. And I mean,
Yep.
think about the conversations you and I have at the dinner the night before, during the day, nobody's distracted, very few exhibitors, one conversation going on, and again, highly curated by Mayo.
Absolutely. And, we talk about this with respect to our meetings as well, but I view it the same way with like this event that's coming up at Mayo. Hey Scott, hey Joe, what's the theme of the event? It'd be really easy to say that we're going to talk a lot about AI and we're going to talk about the various things that are timely and important in the industry. But I usually walk away from these events knowing what the theme of the event was after it happened. And that's purely based on the one-off conversations that you have with insiders. So you get this group of insiders from the various places of the table to talk about the timely things that we need to talk about, whether it's technology or financing trends, but you leave with themes based on conversations you held with one-off people. And to me, that's some of the stuff that I can't really draw it up before I go. I can't quantify it, but when I leave and get on the plane, there are things that I take away with me that I didn't expect. To me, that's part of the power of events like this. Very curated, as you say, invite only. And I don't know what the numbers are this year, but I had an early look at the attendee list, and it's a phenomenal group of people that are going to be there.
Highly concentrated for sure. And in closing, I would say this would be my opinion. There are a couple breadcrumbs during the calendar year that I look at that infer where the industry's going. And of course, there's the 3 LSI meetings, and I mean that sincerely because they're in different parts of the world, which have different nuances and different levers being pulled, but nonetheless developing medical devices. So it's those 3. I also think about Eric Wilson's SDTS meeting. I mean, that is as close to a Mayo as there is. But then I think you have the winner of them all, where you have the clinicians, you have the patient, you have the most elite side of care, the investors and the strategics, one day concentrated. When you start to take all of that through an aperture, you can start to focus on seeing where the industry is going, the decisions being made, the investment dollars, and more importantly, what's the adoption and thoughts that the user is going to have on the technology.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So if you were talking to somebody who wasn't going there this year in closing, what would be your message to them?
Uh, what would I tell the person that didn't get invited to the Mayo event? I'd tell them, I'm sorry, and hopefully next year. But no, in all seriousness, I think I'd like to download for them what I took away from the event. I would like to encourage anybody that gets an opportunity to be a part of this event to suit up and show up, because you won't regret it. And for the people that do attend the event, that have the ability and the honor to be a part of this thing, you got to really lean into these. And like you say, it's one day, it's one room, everybody's captive. I love the way that the program has been designed so that it's not just one way. There's two way. There's opportunities to ask questions and get involved. And I think the more that our industry, does what I've seen the Mullings Group do over the years, does what LSI aspires to do when we talk here internally, and that is get involved. Raise your hand, lean in, help somebody that needs help, and when you need help, know where to go and ask for that help. Because one of the special things about our industry is I think it's obviously made up of the most talented people, in my opinion, in the world, but it's also made up of people that want to help each other. And you have competitors often, and you've seen this, Joe. You have competitors that are fiercely fighting for market share in given markets, and that's true. But they also will help each other when it's appropriate to do so. And I think that's something unique that makes our industry special. So I think what I'd say to people is, step up, suit up, and show up, and get involved and help when you can and ask for help when you need it, because there's a lot of great people in our industry that will help you.
Agreed. Well, thank you, my friend. I'm going to suit up, show up, and bring it, just like you always do. And I'll see you in Rochester in a couple of weeks.
Looking forward to it, Joe. Thanks as always, and great job to you and your team. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thanks, man. I'm Joe Mullings from 160 Studios with Scott Pantel, the man. Be well.